What's up, guys? Welcome back into another episode of the Pittsburgh Pirates franchise here on MLB The Show 22. In today's video, we're going to be doing a lot of roster management related stuff as we move over into the month of May. It is absolutely crucial at this point that we go out and try to find ourselves some catching help. We are kind of at a complete loss as for where we can go with the catcher position, simply because Henry Davis is too young and too inexperienced to be called up to the majors right away, just being a fresh draft pick. He's also not performing all that well down in the minors right now. Roberto Perez is still out for 1 to 2 months with a major injury, and Michael Perez and Carter Binns just simply are not getting the job done. They're not batting well, and they have not been playing all that well defensively. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm looking to send Carter Binns back down to the minors, but I'm looking to potentially make a move because we have some players that have not been working out for us, like Kevin Newman and players of that nature that just have not been doing all that well. And I feel like I've located at least one player that could help out our team majorly and wouldn't be a huge loss for another team. And that is catcher Reese McGuire over here off of the Blue Jays. And I know that he's playing really well right now, but ultimately they have Danny Jansen, who should be the primary catcher here with his potential and his upside. And they also have Alejandro Kirk and Gabriel Morena, who all have very high potential, and they should be looking to utilize those players. So I see no reason that they can't move on from Reese McGuire, and I see no reason that they wouldn't try to move on from a guy that is hot right now, that they could probably get something back at a position of need. And as we look around at various positions that they could probably utilize some help at, I was thinking that the shortstop position looks pretty thin for them. There's really nobody between Bo Bichette and these prospects that are quite far away from the major league level. So I think Kevin Newman or somebody at that position could be a nice addition to the trade. So ultimately what I've decided to do for them is I've decided to send them Kevin Newman and Hoy Park. It says on their team sheet that they are seeking a second baseman or a center fielder, and they were also really honestly very short at that shortstop position. Like I said, they do have those prospects, but inevitably by the time that they're ready, then Kevin Newman will be ready to move on to another team, or they'll be ready to get rid of him. They could utilize him and maybe get something out of him this year, as they are a team that is looking to compete. So we'll see what kind of results they get out of that, but I think that giving up players like Hoy Park and Kevin Newman is really not going to be all that detrimental to us. Hoy Park is a prospect with a good bit of upside, all things considered, but he just has not played well for us on the season. Right now he's batting 143, so he's only going down right now, and we're not getting what I would like to see out of him. I have other prospects that I'm ready to move up to the roster, and we'll get into that in a moment. So, all things considered, I decided to initially leave Michael Chavez down in the minors in order to hopefully build momentum for him to come up to the majors on a hot streak. He currently is 76 at-bats into his minor league system right here, into his run, I should say, and he is batting .329. He is very hot, and he is, in my opinion, the player that we're looking for to provide a spark to try to get us some more wins in this division right now. So we are going to go ahead and nominate Chavez to come up to the major leagues, and he is going to split time with Diego Castillo, who has been cold as of late. Likewise, continuing on with the theme of hopefully providing a spark to this major league roster, I had also left Cole Tucker down in the minors, who is actually on the opening day roster for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but I thought that it would be wise to give him some developmental time in the minors to try to get a couple of things right, and that seems like it has worked for us so far. Now, I know he is making the jump straight from AA to the MLB, but nonetheless, he has been in the MLB before, and that's just a minor oversight on my part, so he is coming up to the Major League roster. He can play in the infield and the outfield, and I do believe he's going to be another one that has the chance to provide a spark to this team, and bringing up both him and Chavez at the same time looks like it could be the right move for us. Other notable names that we are going to be on the lookout here as we move further into this season are players that do have potential timelines to get up to this team in real life this year. Players like Travis Swagger Haggerty. Now, I know he's a bit of a far-fetched prospect to come up to the major leagues quite this year in the MLB, but he's playing pretty well for us down here in the minors, getting up to AAA and batting .270 to this point and playing pretty well defensively. Matt Frazier, who is definitely supposedly on a 2022 timeline, is batting .295 for us in the minors and looks really solid so far. And now that we've moved some of our roster around and gotten it to the point that we want it to be at, I think that what I want to do is I want to play this matchup with Quinn Priester. He's been struggling as of late, and I would like to jump in and maybe help him out. Now, this is going to be a AAA game, so it might not work out in our favor, but nonetheless, I think it'll be interesting to see what we might be able to get done with a guy like Quinn Priester in this AAA matchup, and maybe push him to potentially get up to the major league roster in the foreseeable future. Roansy Contreras is playing pretty well, but Quinn Priester, we need to push better performance out of him. Now, what I've decided to do is I've actually decided to come in here and play the full game so that we can potentially bounce around between a couple of these prospects and Quinn Priester and see what we can do as a team as a whole here, because there are some other prospects that I'm interested to get a look at outside of Quinn Priester. Quinn Priester is still not quite where I would need him to be to come up to the major league level, so it might be worthwhile to take a look at some of those other guys that I mentioned earlier on, like Frazier, or Fraser, however you pronounce his name, and some of the other guys that may have a shot to come up and see the major league roster within the near future. This is another guy, Marcano, at third base, that when I was really looking through stats, has played a phenomenal season so far down here in AAA, and I was kind of surprised because I didn't really think to look at him right away. He's only a 65 or 64 overall, but has played reasonably well, both defensively and at bat. So, you know, more guys to keep in mind down here in the minor leagues than just those guys that I mentioned. Obviously, it's hard to mention every single guy that could do something for us in a single video. But Quinn Priester here, struggling with his control. Not much of a surprise for a young pitcher like him. He does have some really good stuff, though. I mean, his break on this curveball can be very good at times. See if we can't get him with a curveball. He does get a hold of that one. Might be able to get him with the two-seam away. Oh, and look at that! That's a fantastic jump and ability to reach for that ball there by Marcano at third base. Like I said, that guy's been surprising me. Not getting the call there, unfortunate. Although that's the way our season's gone whenever I've played these games, especially down here in AAA. He does try to make that dive to get to that ball at third base. It would have been 3 plays in a row by him, but that one was just outside of his reach. He's not quite athletic enough to get to that. Very well hit ball down the line. He actually got much closer to that ball than I thought. Oh, and that's going to be a really nice hit for Marcano. That's the same guy I've been talking about. Maybe I need to be giving this guy a second look and consider bringing him up. I kind of overlooked that third base position, mainly just because of Cabrian Hayes. There he goes with a stolen base, too. Absolute dominance with this performance so far from Marcano. I don't know what the consistency is like, but some really nice defensive plays, shows a lot of effort, gets a hit, gets a stolen base. There's another one, and I think Marcano's coming home and scoring a run for us. Man. Oh, and I don't know why, but I didn't go to second base. That's going to be an out. Bad base running there. Oh, he held it. Now up to bat with Nick Gonzalez. We got a man on first and a man on second with 1 out. Probably should have swung on that one. Nick Gonzalez is, I think, one of the top 3 or 4 prospects for the Pirates. They do have a 2022 ETA on him, but he has been playing really poorly for this team down in the minors, for our team anyway. Only batting 190 or somewhere around there, just not performing where we would want him to be. His bat has not come along yet, so he may be one that sticks down in the minor league system for longer than we would have expected him to. in a tough position here in the second inning. We have a man on first and a man on third. We got to try to work out of this tough position with Priester. Some good pitches so far, though, to start us off. And we are going to get him with another changeup, a fantastic break on that changeup. I'm really liking the stuff that I see out of Quinn Priester. I can't wait until we get to utilize him on our MLB roster. I may player lock and have some more games with Quinn Priester. And again, in the third inning, a tough situation that we're going to have to overcome, as Quinn Priester on the mound has a man on first, a man on third, and 2 outs. We're going to see if we can't hit him with a similar combination to the last time. Now 2 strikes. Let's go back to the changeup and see if we can get it to work again. That's not going to work for us this time, and I have a bad feeling that might be 2 runs. A good throw. Not going to be able to come across the plate. And that's 2 runs let up by Quinn Priester. I can see where the issues might come in. That changeup was left high, as you can see right there, and that is not going to help our cause at all. Unfortunately, going to come away with a 6-3 loss here. All of those runs earned by Quinn Priester. I can definitely see where the issues come in for him, and I can definitely pinpoint where we're going to need to work on with him. And if I do player lock with him in the future, I know what areas to take a look at and which areas to avoid. Certainly the control is the biggest issue, and that's, you know, that's what it's going to be with all of these younger pitchers, especially on all-star pitching. But nonetheless, I was pleased with his first 5 innings worth of work until he got rocked in the 6th inning. So that tells me that he is very far along and actually pretty close to where we might expect him to be or want him to be in the near future in terms of knocking on the door for MLB playing time. Nonetheless, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and got to see a little bit of a look into the minor league system and how we're going to shape up this roster as we continue to move through the season. But with all that being said, leave a like down below, comment as well, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I'll see you guys, as always, in the next video, and I hope you have a good one.